We live. Welcome. What's up, Mr. J?
Oh yeah, I'm doing good, Pastor. I'm doing good, real good.
Good. How was your week this week?
This week was full. This week, I had a short day, but I had one short day this week, but everything else was just full with like trying to talk to people and get back to people and respond and see what's going on and send out a bunch of stuff, buy a bunch of stuff. So yes,
Oh, you spent some money this week, huh?
I spend more. I probably spend more money every week than I would like to admit. Yeah.
All right. But you make money every week too, so you know.
I do make a good chunk of change every week.
But listen, welcome to another Rise and Thrive, where we are rising from our financial slump and we're thriving in financial freedom. Financial
Yes,
freedom.
yes,
That's
yes,
the key, isn't it, James? Financial freedom.
yes. It's good.
Yeah, we talked about financial freedom early on. When we talk about financial freedom, you brought that word up, and that stuck with me. Say again what your definition of financial freedom.
Financial freedom is the ability to make moves without having to look at your pocketbook in order to make that move.
All right. That's a good way to put it. And so that's like read the menu backwards.
Yeah,
You know, you go to
let me
the
see how much
restaurant
money.
and
Yeah,
you
we're
see
gonna go
how
out.
much it costs, and then you decide what you want to eat.
Ooh, that's $13. Nope. Let me get that one soup for $5.99. I'm about to make it last. So
Financial freedom is so important, though. People really don't understand the power of financial freedom. You know, I have a trip coming up, and want to be they want me to be a part of a marriage retreat in Aruba. And you know, Aruba is a long ride, and so I want to fly first class. And looking at the first class tickets, they 1,600 a piece. And so, you know, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna pull that off, because that's over $3,000, and that's just for the plane ride. They ain't got nothing to do with the hotel and transportation and food and, you know, offering or whatever. But when you talk about financial freedom is the ability to just go pull the trigger.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
Now, now the reason why I want to say that because financially free doesn't mean that we're just frivolous with our money.
right.
It means that you're not bound by the options that your money that that being in. Another way to put it is, are you enslaved to your debtors?
Okay.
You have so many debtors out there that you're being pulled left and right, like you're bounded or you're in slavery. Well, being financially free means that I'm not bounded to my indebtors or to
Okay.
my debtors. I have the ability to move. I can talk. I can speak. I am not. It's like a person who signs an agreement, and you, like most people who you have the ability to use their name, image, and likeness. Right when they sign a contract,
Uh-oh. I think I froze. We're talking about financial freedom, our ability to rise from financial slumps to thriving in financial freedom. And and that's so key. That's so key
oh,
for you.
gotcha.
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah, I didn't know what happened. I was like, did the program go down?
Yeah. No, I was still holding it down. I was holding it down. I was talking a little more about the whole idea of financial freedom and the ability to be able to make choices. And even like when I talk about first class, I ain't talking about it as a luxury. You know, I'm a big guy, you
Yeah.
know, and I just flew back from Florida, and someone, you know, allowed us to be able to fly standby. And so unfortunately the plane was full. So my wife, she sat in row 12, which is almost like comfort class, you know, and the only other seat they had was in row 37. And so I went to row 37, and I told my wife I couldn't even drink the soda that they bring you. I was cramped so much I couldn't pour it. I was, and it was a big guy on the left, and it was a big guy on the right, and it was a struggle, and I couldn't move my feet. And then the guy in front of me had the nerve, the audacity to let his seat back. So,
That's
so
like fighting
I'm not
words.
talking about going first class, as a luxury. I'm a big guy, you know what I mean? And to go that far, especially if you're going to do ministry, you don't want to get there and be wore out. But we're talking about having that financial freedom. And so before you went off, you was talking about not being wasteful. Financial freedom is not being wasteful.
Yes.
I believe you used the term frivolous. Do you remember that thought you had?
Yeah. I remember that thought I had because I think about it a lot. When you're financially free, it doesn't mean that you just splurge and you spend money frivolously. That means that you just waste your money and you be like, I see candy, I'm going to buy candy. That's not what we're talking about. Financially free means that when I go to a restaurant of my choice, I know that the menu could be whatever it is, right? If the menu is a medium dollar menu, if it's a fast food menu, if it's an expensive menu, it means that I know that I have the ability to cover what I'm doing. Financially free means that, hey, if I want to support somebody, I have enough money coming in and I can support somebody without putting myself in hardship.
Okay.
That's financially free. Another method of being financially free or gauging how free you are is looking at how many debts you have out there. If you're indebted to a bunch of different credit card companies, to a hospital bill, if you're indebted also to all your friends and families that you owe money to, guess what? You're not financially free, you're financially bonded or enslaved.
Right. Right.
Financially free people is the reason why we was able to push people like Paul, and we was able to push Paul, like the missionary who went out and he retrieved a lot of people for Jesus Christ. He wrote 2/3 of New Testaments. He was free to do that because he had other churches with free people, free, financially free people who could fund what he was doing. Another person that made it through the history books is a guy by the name of Billy Graham. Billy Graham himself wasn't funding everything he was doing. He had a lot of backers who was financially free, who could send a man of God out to do what he was called to do. If you look at people who aren't even Christians, look at Malcolm X, or look at those who are Christians. Look at Martin Luther King. These are people who was able to further do what they are do because they was backed by organizations who were being supported by people who was financially free. And even though we was going through hardships at that time, we still had money set aside to make sure that we was putting money away to send those who can do what we are not able to do. So being financially free doesn't mean that you will be 8 to 9 figures. It doesn't mean that you'll be on some Instagram profile with a Ferrari, but it does mean you're able to enjoy life and be pleasant or comforted in the life that you're living.
And that's the start of it, right? Because
Yeah.
because following that pattern, you could be that one with the Ferrari on Instagram. Following that pattern, you could be that 6 7 figure person. But that's the start of it. Understanding what financial freedom is and striving for financial freedom, which means that you're not just spending money because you have money. Going back to what we originally talked about, our money has an assignment. And when we talk about that, I think one of the biggest challenges that most people have is short-term discomfort. Most people can't deal with short-term discomfort, even though in order to get to a place of long-term benefit, you have to go through the season of short-term discomfort. And so a lot of times, as soon as people get
Mhm.
money, the things that they dream about or the things that they desire, it could be a steak dinner, it could be a new, coat or a new dress or, it's things that they couldn't do because they didn't have the money for it. But as soon as they got the money, instead of riding it out a little longer and putting purpose to that money, they take the money right away and then they'll go just spin it up to do whatever that temporary, you know, fun is or temporary thing is, and then they're back in the same situation they were in, and so they fall back into that financial slump. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
And
so,
because some people may think that, hey, I saved $1,000 and now I'm free. No, you're not. You you was starting the process, and the moment you hit adversity, and that's typically why we stop. If your goal is to pull yourself out of a car payment, $1,000 doesn't pull you out of car payment. It just puts you ahead of several car payments. It doesn't end the car payment at $1,000. And when you start the process, you got to be willing to go through the process,
mhm,
because even when you hit financial freedom, you do a reassessment, because everything is always a sign. You do a reassessment. Hey, what do I got coming out? What do I got going in? I just paid off these 2 credit cards and now they're manageable.
mhm,
Because being financially free doesn't mean that you don't have debt. It means you have the ability to manage your debt. Being financially free doesn't mean that everything is all paid off. It means everything is manageable. That means the house you live in is manageable, because you still got to pay taxes for the house that you live in. You will never be without taxes. The house you live in does have heat and it has electricity. Those bills have to be paid. But being financially free means that those things aren't a burden to you. They're just things that has to go with the ability to do what you want to do.
yeah, yeah. We got couple people tuned in. Miss Paris, how you doing, Miss Paris? Tuned in. How's my grandson doing? He has his baby dedication tomorrow. I mean, what day is this? Oh, this Friday.
Right.
On Sunday, and so I talked about him this weekend. And then I see Lady B tune in over there. She says, I'm going to be financial free soon, real soon. And so that's what we want to really get to, because I believe that is the desire of most people, and is to achieve financial freedom. I mean, struggling can be old news. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Always chasing, after, finances, and running from them, and all the different things that go along with not having enough. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I think a lot of times it's about starting, like you say, with where we are, as far as doing those little adjustments. And you heard the term. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Marathon.
And
Yes, it
so
is.
that's the thing that we have to understand. Financial freedom is a journey of building good, sound financial habits. I remember a story that a multimillionaire, um, he told, and he went to Dubai, and somebody at Dubai took him to this, billionaire, millionaire restaurant, and he was in the restaurant with him, and I think it was his family, and they brought the menu, and the salad was $300, and so he got up and got his family and everybody, and he left, and he went down the street, and then they, had a wonderful meal, and the guy who had introduced him to this place, he was kind of disturbed by that. And so eventually he worked up enough courage, I'll say, to ask the multimillionaire the question. It said, "Did you get up and leave that restaurant because the salads was $300?" And the multimillionaire said, "Yes." And he said, "But you got it." He said, "Yes, I do, but not for that." You know what I mean?
That's a
And so having the money doesn't mean that you spend the money. It still means that you have good, sound financial habits that you're able to gauge. And he said he went down and paid almost 300 for the whole table, for the salad, the meal, and everything, and it was a good meal. But a lot of times, if we're not careful, we're buying, designer things. We're buying things that impress people around us, but then, you heard the term, you have a coach purse, but you don't have no money in it, and so being able to, or have, I don't know the different labels. Let's say some Gucci jeans, but you ain't got no money in your pocket. And so it's so important that we understand that financial freedom is a journey, and it's comprised of developing good, sound financial habits. Right,
Yes,
right.
yes. And the
Well,
term you're looking for is keeping up with the Joneses. I know
okay,
people be trying to keep up with me all the time, and I'll be like, dude, it's about the grind.
all right. Well, I want to keep up with the Joneses. You know, I know the Jones. I know the Joneses is loaded right here. That's why we got the Joneses on here. He did that on the slide, y'all. He just threw that in for free. You know, yeah, yeah. Because we want to be. Hey, listen, ain't no need of reinventing the wheel. If somebody said it's all right to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. You know?
Yes, yes. Okay. There's there's some truth in that. There's some truth
All
in that.
right. And so we want to copy the right cat, you know.
Yeah.
And so I believe that, based on our initial conversations as well as our financial Fridays, that you are the right cat. So we good with copying the right cat. Listen, what we have on our agenda for today.
Okay. So our agenda is going over three main things. Is it up and loaded? Okay. I had to make sure. I
I'm gonna
think
blank my camera off for a half a second, but I'm not asleep. Okay. I've been
okay.
chopping all day, but I'm not taking a nap. All right, I'm just gonna blank it out just for a hot second.
Okay.
But
Everybody.
I'm
So
still with you. I'm still with
I know I'm glad you're with me. The main three things we're gonna talk about today is before I get started, let me just say thank you everybody for tuning in to Rise and Thrive. That is Dr. Anthony D. Burns, and I'm co-hosting it. I'm James Jones. So this is brought to you by Jericho Church Without Walls and James JLJP. The three things we're going to talk about is starting at start. I don't know who coined it, but that is the perfect way to say something. For everybody in the chat, we want everybody to start at start. That means wherever you are right now, we want your input. I want you to understand where you are, and I want you to start being who you are right at where you are. So we're going to talk about where is your income. I'm going to tell you where mine is, and I need to know where yours is. Now, don't worry. No one is going to make you say it. I'm going to give mine freely, and I want you to take notes on where yours is, and then go from there.
hold up. I heard that across the room. I had to run back. You say you're gonna do what?
I want to tell you where I am financially, and I want everybody to take notes on where they are. That way, if you want to ask questions, you can. If you don't want to ask questions, you can. But that's how we gonna roll. Okay,
All right.
because the only way to get everybody where we need to be is to get everybody where we need to be.
You ain't ready to shut the whole thing down, are you?
Huh?
You ain't ready to shut the whole thing down now.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I am not shutting it down. I'm not shutting it down. No. So then we're gonna go into expenses. What are your expenses? So
Hold
just
up.
like the income,
I think Lady B is flirting with me.
she is.
She said, "Thank you." She said you. Oh, okay. I thought she said, "Thank you, Dr. Burns." She was thanking you, James,
Oh,
and Dr. Burns
ah,
for the
thanks, Lady B.
months of wisdom and knowledge you shared. Oh, I thought she was flirting with me. That's my wife. For everybody that's maybe tuned in, don't know who that is. Say that preacher out there flirting with the peoples.
Oh my.
All right. So
Okay, so we're gonna talk about my income. I'm gonna hold on. Let me not say that correct. Let me say that. Let me correct that. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna ask you a question on where is your income. I'm gonna give you an example of my income. I'm gonna ask you what are your expenses. I'm gonna give you an example of my expenses, and then I'm gonna tell you what am I doing right now to start where I am. Actually, I'm gonna give you maybe two weeks ago, how I looked at 2 weeks ago and where I plan on being. And I want you to either ask questions or take notes on where you will be after you hear what I got.
okay.
And yeah, it's gonna be completely open. Everybody gonna have hopefully have fun. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to take away from that, and then we can move on.
All right, we're gonna see. So starting at start, I first heard Dr. Bond say that, start at start. And so I don't know if she originated or where it may have came from there, but that's where I first heard it. And that's a powerful statement. When I heard it, it's simplistic in, you know, just making a statement, but however, is a very powerful statement. There is a scripture in the Bible, and unfortunately, I don't know exactly where it is, but it says, if you wait on the perfect timing, you will never do nothing. You know, so now I'm gonna have Lady B look that up for me. Um, you know, if you wait on the perfect timing, you would never do nothing. So start at start means there's never a perfect timing. You know,
Yeah.
life is going to be life, and so there's always going to be some challenges, and you can't allow, you know, some challenges, big or small, to keep you from keep grinding. You got to grind through those things. You know, I
Yes.
remember when I used to grind my coffee. I would buy the coffee beans, and I had a little grinder, and then I would pour the coffee beans in there, and you hit the button and it grind up the coffee bean. Well, sometimes I would put too many coffee beans in there, and then the grinder would get stuck. You know, it'd be grinding, and then all of a sudden it gets stuck because it get overwhelmed by all of the coffee beans. So I had to stop it and then unplug it, and then just I didn't have to dig in there or nothing. I just have to give it a little push, a nudge past that hard place, and I would plug it back up and hit a button, and it would grind it up. And so, as a metaphor, when it comes to life, sometimes we can get overwhelmed with all of the bills, with all the different things that we have on our do list, with maybe our health challenges, maybe our career, or where we live, or whatever, all the dreams and visions that we have. We can get overwhelmed, and sometimes we can get stuck. But if you don't start, oftentimes you waiting on all of those things to clear up. And I don't know. I've been on the earth now. I'll be 65 this year. I know I look like I'm 35, but
Yeah.
I'm
There you go.
65 this year, and I'm telling you, I've never had a time in my life where I could actually say, there was not something going on that I had to push through. You know, matter of fact, I just finished writing a book. I've been writing it for a couple months for my anniversary. I was supposed to um, uh, release it for my anniversary, and it was about my journey. And I talked about as a little boy growing up and the challenges that I've had, even through ministry, to be able. It's called Forged, and so and for me, I feel like I was forged through adversity. And so it was the things that I've been through. At any moment it could have stopped me or got me stuck, but I had to continue to grind through things all of my life. I remember continue to grind through things. And so that's so important that we understand, or we tell people, that starting at start doesn't mean it's not going to be some challenges. It doesn't mean that it's going to always be smooth sailing, but small adjustments. Lady B found that scripture for us, and I have a Bible right here. What's your take on what I just said, Jane?
No, I think the coffee ground analogy is perfect. We often sometimes get I think the take that I had from it was that oftentimes we're grinding stuff out, and even as we're grinding stuff out, we get hit with small chunks of hardness. And sometimes it takes just one person to be like, "Oh, I can help you out," right? And you just shake it a little bit, unplug it, shake it a little bit, just loosen it up, plug it right back in, and it gets right back to grinding.
Okay.
And that's what I believe Financial Friday is. I believe everybody has an idea, they have a plan, and they're going for it. They're shooting for it. But then they hit a couple. They hit a little couple of harder to crush down rocks, and they kind of sitting there like, I'm grinding this stuff out, but it's not really doing it. So Financial Friday, we're coming in there. We just saying, hey y'all, here go a little fresh take on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now grind it up, keep it moving, and we'll see you on the other side. So that's the biggest thing that I do. That was the biggest takeaway from the coffee.
Now,
Was
would you say even in your own life, in your own grinding experience, that do things always go the way that you plan?
no.
You know, I mean, things always just fall in place for you.
Mm.
You got it so easy. You got the life, as my pastor used to say. You got the life, your life in the jug and a stop in your hand. You just you just got it made, and you don't have any challenges.
I don't.
Everything just fall in place for you. Everything you touch turn to gold.
I laugh. I laugh at. I think that's hilarious. Not bad or good. I think that's hilarious because every day, every every day, I have a challenge. I don't think I can make it through the day without having at least 3 to 4 challenges. And I mean, in different arenas, like different arenas, it just draws so much energy out of you that I don't think people don't understand what it takes to be a grinder in the sense that you will always be hit with challenges. And when I say always, I mean there's always another challenge happening.
Ain't that what they call life?
Yeah, but some people take the easy road. Some people
sit at home and watch TV and get
some
fat.
people just sit at home watch TV. They be like, you know what, these bills are gonna come, bills are gonna go, and they just sit at home. Okay. And then there's those of us that was like, hey, you know what, I can do better than this. I can work harder than this. I can work myself out of this. And then you put yourself in situations where you're working a 40-hour week job, you're a 40-hour week entrepreneur, you got another 20%, another 20-hour investor, and then you like a 5-hour investor over here, and you find yourself, and then, oh yeah, let me not forget, I'm still a husband, still a father, still a godfather.
All right, gangster. Yeah, a little gangster in you.
You know what I'm saying? But you got all these different arenas that you fall yourself in, and each one has these challenges. Each one has challenges, and nothing is easy. But you got to jump in there and just say, you know what? I'm gonna make some mistakes. I'm gonna get some things right, but I know I'm gonna be here tomorrow. And if I have enough breath tomorrow, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna still do what I got to do.
Yeah.
So you may not watch a lot of TV. And you may not be able to quote all the NFL's score charts. But when you be like, hey, I'm finna leave town, and now you can jump in something and you just leave town, that feels good.
Yeah.
When you like, hey, my kids need some food, we need to go grab something. Hey, love, why don't we go grab something? And it's not a hassle, then you feel good. But I'm not saying that was immediate. I'm saying that's after the longevity of doing the small adjustments over the strength of time, then things start falling into your bucket a little bit easier.
Okay, all right. Starting that start and being able to, one of the prayers that I had early on, I used to want things to be easier. I used to wonder why I had it so hard as a pastor trying to make things happen. And then I read a quote. I don't know who quoted it, but they said, and then I kind of put my own twist on it. And the bottom line was, I don't want things to get easier. I want to get stronger. And by me being stronger makes things easier. But things are not easy. But I'm stronger. Lady B found that scripture for us. Let me and I see they got one in the chat, but I like the Living Bible. The Living Bible said like this: Ecclesiastic 11:4. It said, "If you wait for perfect conditions, you will never get anything done." And that's the Ecclesiastics 4:11-4, and that's in the Living Bible. That's in the Living Bible. And so, if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. So you got to start at start. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our lesson for tonight, and see if we can help some of these grinders. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So everybody can take notes. We're gonna go over these 3. income, expenses, and getting started at where you are. Now, when I give you my examples, I don't want you to be like, oh, that's where I'm going to be. Start where you are. I'm just using myself as an example because if I use myself, I know what I'm saying is factual. I know if it's true, and then I know it can help somebody else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is, where is your income? That's a good question because currently my income comes from about four different sources. Knowing where your income is coming from would help you fully understand where where your downfalls is. So when I say that, I mean I have a company that pays me, and I have another company that pays me. I have an investment that pays me, and then I have a job that pays me. When you know where your income is coming in, you know where all the you if you respond correctly to where your income is, you know what you can maximize over the course of a month. Okay. So, with that being said, when the rent checks come in from one of the companies that I own, the rent checks come in, that goes to their side, and then I am issued a check from that income. Because I'm issued a check from the income, I can tell you if all the rent came in because all the rent is a steady flow of money. So when everything comes in and I get my portion from the rent checks, I can tell you if I am or am not, if all the rent did or didn't come in. And I am mindful of that. When I have an investment check that comes in, I can tell you if the investment went high or low. If it went high, that's a good thing. If it went low, that's a bad thing. But you should be checking up on it regularly. And then that will give you a better insight to do and to fulfill more. The income from my job. The reason why I say the income from your job, because I have a job too. I work 40 hours a week. I actually drive a lot and I do a lot for the military, which also brings in an income. With that income, I can purposefully see that income coming in and I can divvy up that money appropriately to make sure that that income is doing what it is supposed to do. So when I tell you where is your income, write it down. If you are working a job, you should know that your income is coming from this source. On top of knowing what the income is, write down how much you actually bring in. What is your gross? Not taxes, not insurance, not dental. Before everything is cut out, you should know where you are. And that's on a paycheck to paycheck basis. So if you get paid every 2 weeks, you do your paycheck to paycheck and then you multiply that by 26 weeks. That will give you your understanding of how much you got coming in. If you get paid month to month, like I do on the rental side, then you multiply that by 12 and you know where you are for the whole year. And the reason why I say that is because that's how you know if you're at six figures. Now, I laugh because I am over that amount. I come in about a little bit higher than six figures for a long time now. For
I
currently,
knew you was gonna shut it down. I knew you. I knew you was gonna shut it down. I was waiting on it. I was waiting on it. I was waiting on it. I knew he was gonna shut this thing down. No,
the,
no. Hold up right there. So let's a couple things.
no,
In Proverbs 27, let me put that over in one of these chats there.
Proverbs 27.
Proverbs 27, 23 to 24, it says, riches can disappear fast, and the king's crown doesn't stay in his family forever. So watch your business interests closely. Know the state of your flocks or in your herds. So the Bible says that money, riches don't last forever, or they can disappear fast. And he says, so you gotta watch your business interests. You gotta know the state of your business, you know. And so that's the Bible. And so that's good advice to know
Yeah.
your state of your business. Now, the other thing, Mr. J, is that you know being able to get to that place where you have those different investments. Now, I don't know if the average person, um, you know, is on that track. The people that I encounter, and as a pastor, I encounter a lot of people throughout my week. I can't go nowhere pretty much where somebody don't know me. And when people know me, whether it be, after church or wherever, if people run into me
Yeah.
and I'm at a place where I'm paused, whether it means I'm reading a label in a grocery aisle, or I'm standing in line at the checkout, or, I'm at the altar shaking hands, people seem to always take advantage of that time and think that, that's the time for counseling. And so then they pour out their hearts to me in the store. Matter of fact, my boys, when they were little boys, when I used to pick them up from school, I said, I got to stop at the store. And they say, well, Dad, can you just drop us off at home? And I said, why y'all can't just go to the store with me? Because people going to walk up to you talking about, can you pray for me? And you're going to be praying for them, and it's going to be long, you know. So the point that I'm making here is I interact with a lot of people on a regular basis. And the average person that I interact with is always at some point or level complaining about, and maybe complaining might be a strong word. Some of them do complain, but have a concern about their financial state. And a lot of times their financial state drives their family interaction. So if there's challenges at home, a lot of times it can be the stress from not having the financial freedom, you know. And it's a snowball effect, you know. And so I definitely congratulate you on your accomplishment and where you are. It gives us something to strive for, and it qualifies, your ability to help walk us through this. But backtracking now, going back to that person who is challenged through their financials, the person whose financial situation is causing challenges at home in their relationship with their spouse, and their ability to, take that time out in order to regroup. Because some people don't have vacations and things of that sort. Now I know they got a thing, and no, I ain't coming for you, Minister Brumfield. But there are some people they take staycations, they call them. I heard that from Minister Brumfield. She said she was on a staycation. And I can't do staycations. I have to do vacate. I have to vacate. I have to get out. I have to get out of here. You know what I mean? And even when I'm gone, like this week I was gone, my phone's steady blowing up. I'm steady getting texts and things of that sort. So James, I'm talking about that average person, because they'll look at what you just said, and then they'll look at that almost in an overwhelming manner, and then they'll disqualify themselves from ever being there. Even though we say start, little adjustments, you know, and even though you did your disclaimer in the beginning, you talk about wherever you are, but the question is, can we get to that place?
Yes.
You know.
I am 100% sure that everyone can get there.
So speak to that person I just described to you.
Okay. So in my perspective, the average person is probably making ends meet. That's the average person is probably making ends meet. And they probably working a job. So to the average person out there who can hear what I'm saying, just listen to me. I believe in you. I believe is a Whitney Houston song say, I believe in you and me or something like that. She said, I believe in miracles. Now I'm not a Whitney Houston singer, so I don't have their same voice. But the song was talking about hope and uplifting. And I want to tell you that the reason why you can do this is because, like everything else, you have time. And when I say you have time, you got to remember that this isn't like I just happened upon and then I started doing it. The things in which I talk about, I did. And then when it all came crashing down, I had to apply all of those theories.
Mm-hmm.
So then this is a hardened understanding. And I think that's the thing that we all must be aware of is how concrete is what I'm saying. And I understand that some of this stuff could be a lot, right? It could be a lot. It's like if you got a kid and you think your kid is really cool, and then you go to school and then you see your kid beating up everybody, right? And you could be like, dude, this ain't the kid I got at home. And the principal's like, well, that's the kid we got at the school. I don't know what they be doing at home, but this is what it looks like here, right? I don't want you to think that I'm looking at you at that same way. I want everybody to know that we had our trials and our struggles, right? And I don't want nobody to be talking to my wife on Sunday, be like, hey, what y'all go through? Because it ain't about people to have all of your personal business. It's just to know that we went through our own trials and struggles. And from those trials and struggles, we grew. And when I say we, I do mean having a person that has your back, or a person that will push you forward, or a person that will be with you while you're going through things. That's a difference maker.
Okay.
Okay. So the average person, the biggest thing I can tell you is follow your dream, follow your vision.
Okay.
And
Now
know that things happen in little small changes though. I can't express that enough. It's just the small steps that make people get better.
Okay, let's talk about, you say you still have time. So when you look at your time span over the career, over your time to get to where you are, um, how long has your journey been?
My journey started 26. So that'll make it about 16 years.
Okay.
16 years in a journey. I had a vision of what I'm doing now about 34 years. About 34 years. So when people start thinking about it, I want you to know that the vision that God gave me that I'm running with now. So I wrote a whole manifesto on what I'm doing. I was 16. I didn't even start until I was around 26. So that's 10 years without anything, without anybody seeing anything. All they heard was my words, my voice, and they heard what my vision was. Now, when you say the average person, I'm saying, are they willing to have the vision without the production of things? Or are they willing to jump ahead and say, well, I can do it faster? God has a plan for everybody. When God told Joseph, you're going to save Israel, right? He wasn't thinking, I'm finna get beat up by my brothers, sold as a slave, get accused of rape, came back. Like, he wasn't thinking this. He was thinking, I'm going to be at the top. I'm going to have my brothers and my parents bowing down to me. I'm going to be on cloud 9. That's what he was thinking. But you know, the road he took in order to be where he is in the Bible, like, that's a long road. That sucked. Let me make sure everybody understand. When your family hate on you and you get sold into slavery, guess what? That's a sucky situation.
Yeah.
To get out of that, to think that you finally made it because you're in Potiphar's house, his wife to accuse you of rape, which you didn't do. Now you in the emperor's or the pharaoh's prison.
Mm-hmm.
You talking to other people, helping them get better, and you still in jail. They left. One of them got his head chopped off. The other one went back to the king. You still in prison. And then finally, you know the years that it took to make that happen. And then just to realize the vision at the end when your dad finally gets down there and you like, hey, Pop, what happened? Hey, brothers, I want to let y'all know that what y'all meant was evil, but God meant it for the good so we can save our families. I can't tell you the amount of years it would take for you to reach your vision. I can only tell you that for me, it took 10 years before I even started the process. Now, I know that may sound like a lifetime to some people.
No. That actually sounds very good, and that's the point that I was pulling out, so
Yeah.
that people can understand that that's part of the journey. A lot of times, what we want, we're not um, we're not qualified to receive.
Yeah.
And it's through our journey that qualifies us to receive.
Yeah.
That's why they say the average lottery winner, they get all of those million dropped in their lap, and they say the average lottery winner is not only broke after a few years, but they're in worse shape than they were before they won the lottery.
Yeah.
Versus a person that grinded out. I guarantee you that person that grinded out is not going to go out and just blow all of that money, after grinding it out. And so, who we need to be in order to receive, in order to handle, in order to be a good steward of it, it comes through those ups and downs, through those challenges, through being, people. One of the biggest things that people say about me is they say I'm very patient, but I have not always been very patient.
You are right.
You know what I mean? And it's through those ups and downs and everything that I've been through that helped me, that shaped me to be patient, because I've seen God always comes through. So it's just a matter of me now, just walking it out. Now, one of the biggest, hugest, largest, humongous things that I have to fight with myself, and I believe other people have to get this as well, is knowing that God is in charge. We have to begin to see ourselves where we want to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, there's some weeks I'm good with that, but then there's some days things happen that I'm not good with that. You know what I mean? But we got to see ourselves. That's why having a vision and having it written out is so important, because just having it written out is just the first step. You got to see yourself at that place. And a lot of times you're defeated in your mind because you can never see yourself that way. Maybe because your parents weren't like that. Maybe because you didn't grow up like that. Maybe because you're not a good speller, or maybe because you got a health challenge, or whatever. We allow those things to disqualify us. But when you say start and understanding that the power is in the small steps. The
Yeah.
power is not in the huge leaps. The power is in the small steps. And no matter what condition you're in or your life is in, you can take a small step. That's the
Yeah.
beauty. That's the beauty of it. You can take a small step. It's like getting on the highway and driving somewhere. I used to love driving. I still love cars, but not driving like I used to. I've driven to Florida multiple times. But now it depends on what kind of car I got now. If I have Rolls or a Bentley, or so I still want to drive to Florida. You know what I mean? But the thing that I'm saying is that when I drive to Florida, when I first start out, and I look at all the miles I got to go, it was fun planning, but once I get in that car, it doesn't seem as much fun. But then as I see those mile markers and say, not how many miles I got to Florida, but how many miles I got to Chicago, and then once I get to Chicago, how many miles, and then knocking them down mile by mile by mile. The next thing you know, I look up, I'm there. And so it's so important that we not get overwhelmed with everything that we're dealing with, to the degree that we stop making the small steps. The victory is in the small steps. I
Yeah.
think I'm preaching now. Let me
But
back off a little bit.
you are on point, though. You are on point. When people talk about, well, how much income you got, I'm like, well, I didn't just start a business and it made money. First, I got my income right.
Mm-hmm.
First I got the job right. Then I got the business right. Then I got the investments right. And now I'm working on other ventures. Like it's a domino effect. Because once you get the formula, once the formula is right, and you trust the formula, because one is just, do I have a formula? Yes. Do you trust it? But then once you trust the formula and you're like, okay, this is working. It's like the snowball effect of paying down debt. Once you can see that it's working, you're like, okay, cool, I put an extra $5 here and I can see that debt is rolling down. Oh, I just paid off a credit card. Now you know the formula is working. Mm-hmm. Now you're more equipped. You're more confident to believe the formula.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so big on telling people, what is your vision? Because once you see your vision and you there, that's why I'm in agreement with you. It's good that you wrote it down, but once they can live inside their vision, then they wake up and they be like, I know the kind of person I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, I'm supposed to be a confident person. Well, I'm kind of shy now. But in my vision, I'm talking to all these people. Well, now you know where you're supposed to be. You can see it. And once you start talking and then you smile and people are like, oh man, this dude got a really good smile. And now you're walking in your vision. And now your confidence in the vision is improving and is increasing. And when I tell you it's a grind, because you may not be making money, but your personality is changing. You may not making money, but your education is changing. You may not be making money, but you are doing what you have been called to do. And then that's how you get to where you need to be. And then when the money hit, your attitude is already there, your confidence is already there, the formula you got, you already working it, and then the money just start coming. And now you can do what God told you to do with the money. Now you can formulate it right. Now you can push it in the right areas. Now you're confident in what you're doing. And when people ask questions, you already been through the struggle. You already been through all the crazy temptations. You done kicked out all the childhood negative nonsense. Now you're dealing with adult negative nonsenses. You are growing. And then you start seeing these, I'll call them, just like we said, little changes. Just the little changes, and then you're good.
All right. And so that's important to acknowledge that, because, that's going back to what I was saying, as far as becoming who you need to be in order to be able to handle wealth, be able to manage wealth, be able to be a good steward over it. And so, the change may start with your character, the change may start, in those areas you just said. Lady B said, live inside of your vision. That's good. And so living inside of your vision, envisioning yourself at a place. That's why vision boards are important. Yeah. But it's mental toughness. It's mental toughness, because I'm telling you, when you're dealing with bills and you're dealing with, financial, when you're not financial free, that thing can work on you, and especially if you're doing everything to do, and it still don't seem like it's working. It seems like every time I get a nice little piece of money, it's something waiting on it. It's got this list of things waiting on it. And then when I catch up on it, then I find myself back at the place where I was before, and waiting on that next time, and so being able to consistently make those small changes and not allow myself to go back to just being complacent, saying, okay, this is just how it is, but continually grinding and grinding and grinding. And before you know it, it'll be like, what's the budget? I got it.
Hey, that's how good you feel when you can say that, like when you be like, oh, what's the bill? All right. And you just, but it don't hurt you.
Yeah.
It don't hurt you. Saying that doesn't improve or diminish what you got going on. You like, yo, I'm gonna just help out and I'm gonna keep moving. And I think those are the goalposts that people don't know until they get there.
Yeah.
Like your family is going through hardships and you like, all right, what is it? Cool, I'll write the check. And now 3 years ago, that wouldn't be you, but now it's like, you know what? I just write the check. And then everybody is coming together. Mm-hmm. Not to say, oh, he did it. No, it's just like, I'm doing this because I know we need this.
Yeah.
Because your heart is in the right place. And like
Right.
these are the things that took me so long to get started.
Okay.
The guy you see in front of you, I was a little bit more rougher. As rough as you think I am, I was rougher then. And then as crazy as my words are, I had crazier words then.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a lot because as strong willed as I could be, as many words as I can say, as negative or positive as those words can come off, they had to be formulated to at least be able to attract people. They
Okay.
had to be formulated so they can at least have people verbalize what my vision is.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a time.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot of smart people, way smarter than me. It's some people who was on my level. So I'm gonna tell you, you may take you a minute. You may have to learn a whole lot of non-monetary things that you have to learn. I got to learn how to speak. I got to learn how to walk. I got to learn how to be confident in what my vision is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the biggest way to get an investor is to be confident in what you're talking about. Hey, guess what? I got this project. This is what the project is doing. Now, if you're mumbling through your words, if you're not, if you don't show any sign in your vision, no one's gonna walk with you. So now you're doing it by yourself, and you're complaining with God, like, God, why'd you do this to me? Why you give it to me?
Yeah.
And God is like, dude, just believe in what you got. I
Right.
gave you the nugget, not the seed.
Yeah.
And then once you come in, it may take you another year. You may fumble through some really good business deals. You fumble through them, you learn and you learn and you learn. Then you come back, you're confident in your idea. You're confident in your word choices. You rehearsed so you know how it may sound and how it may come off.
Yeah.
And then you start running. You running.
Mm-hmm.
And you like, man, if I would have known this, yeah, I know. If it's always an if.
Yeah.
But we got to start at where we are
Right.
and move forward to so that's one of the biggest things is
Yeah, and that's important because even as a pastor, a lot of times I'll give assignments, when I'm delegating things out. If I don't hear the confidence, then I'm not gonna go with it. A lot of times people say, well, why didn't you let me do it? And because I asked you, and then you didn't give me a solid answer. You like, well, I think I can do it. Well, I don't need you at the thing. If I got to talk you into doing it, then you're not the one.
yeah.
And a lot of times I end up doing a lot of things myself, not because I want to do it myself. It's because you don't display the confidence to get it done for me. And I don't. Now there are some things I can let you learn on or cut your teeth on, but there are some things I need you to be confident with. And so we need to be that same type of confidence with our vision. And most time it takes that process of walking it out to get there. But what I see happens in a lot of people's lives is one, either they chasing the wrong person, thinking that person is going to be their savior, that person is going to let them on their platform. And then as a result of being connected to them, they going to, get the residual from that. And for whatever reason, people don't do that. There's very few people that'll do that, that would really, allow you that opportunity to benefit from their platform. And then the other thing that I see is when a person don't have that confidence, then they won't do nothing. You know, they'll talk, but they won't do nothing. You know, and a lot of times people like that will, you know, whatever solution you give them to make the next step, they got 5 reasons why they can't make the next step.
Yeah.
And usually when I give a person a solution and they come back at me with something negative, that's the end of the meeting for me. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't help you until you get over that, because other than that, you're wasting my time. I'm telling you, the Bible say you can do all things, so you can do it. So stop telling me what you cannot do. Try it. Get started. Start at start. All right. Come on, let's get down a little bit more in our lesson. That time is moving really fast. It's 8:06, and so
uh,
let's see if we can get through this first
my
portion, and then we can pick it up next on our next Financial Friday. All right.
Okay. So the next one is, what are your expenses? So when I say what are your expenses, we're not talking about your investments. We are talking about when I was talking about this, we're talking about the 40%. Now, for some, it's 100%. For some, it's 70. For some, it's 20. Because there's some people who are doing really well, some people who are on the line, and some people who need to improve a little bit. So this is all talking about starting at start. Now, I already told you it would took me 10 years before the vision to actualization, right? 10 years. So I'm telling you, when I say what are your expenses, my expenses are rather high. I'm running a little bit around 45% of what I got coming in. That's what I'm spending in expenses.
All right. And so let's make sure we're clarifying for those who tune in that may forgot. When we talk about 40%, that number we're talking about is how much money we should be spending on our living expenses. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, okay. So let me fill everybody in because I'm looking at the time. Okay. So the formula back was 10% goes to God, 10% is going to the God and country. Sorry about that. 10% is going to God, 10% is going to your country. That's in taxes. 40% is your living expense. That means you take a paycheck. Out of that paycheck, 40% is what you're living off of. Another 20 goes towards your investments, and then you have another 10% for your safety net because you want to build a safety net, and then you have another 10%, another 5% to accelerate what you got going on, and 5% is for your sanity. It comes to 100%. And I say that because every dollar you bring in, you need to be able to break it down. Now, that's the formula I use that have helped me because that 5% sanity has allowed me to eat candy, go to the movies. Sometimes I just walked on the beach because I was really trying to drill down and get at 40%. So that sanity is just to allow you to live life.
Okay.
So when it comes to expenses, my expenses aren't that high relative to how much income I got coming in. However, when you write down your expenses, do not put down your investments. Do not put down what it takes for your acceleration or your safety net or your sanity. When they talk about your expenses, it's not talking about your tithes and offering. We're not talking about what you give in taxes. We're talking about just what you live off of. Now, when you go at what you live off of, because that's what you can chew away at, the amount of money that you use to accelerate yourself out of debt, you can fluctuate that, but you want to have money to help get you out of debt faster. Your sanity, I can't expound on this enough. You need to be able to take a break. You need to be able to relax. You need to be able to do something to take your mind off the grind every now and then. Not that you do it every day. I got to make sure I say that, but that you, like, I'm going to grind for a week and I'm going to have a good day. Like I'm going to go to the movies, right? I'm going to go see a poetry corner. I'm going to go to the beach and just chill out. That's what that 5% is for. So you're assigning 5% of your pay or of your overall income to make sure that you are doing something to keep your sanity. That is to keep you aware, keep you energized, or something that's more entertaining or fun. So that's your 5% sanity. So when it comes to your expenses, let me get on your expenses. I'm typically running around 45% of my expenses. So when you say, what are your expenses? I'm around 45%. Do you need to be around 45%? No. Wherever you are, you're making small adjustments to get yourself towards 40%. Mm-hmm. If you're over 100 in expenses, that means you still got God, you still got your taxes coming out, and you don't have enough to pull yourself through. So you want to give other options. Look back at the slide, look back at Financial Fridays about 4 weeks ago, and there's a lot of quick money ideas to help wrangle some of that stuff in. I say that because even though I have expenses that are around 45%, I still give to my investments about 20%. But I have another investment that I'm also giving money to. And I have And then I'm also helping out in another venture that I'm also giving money towards. So even though my expenses are low, there's other things I'm doing that brings in more income. So it's a cycle, and you will learn that cycle as you prepare yourself. But the biggest takeaway is to know what your expenses are, not your investment costs, not if you're running your own business. This is just for personal reasons. You should know how much it costs for you to live life. Excuse
So
me.
so that means that it's important to, really document, and going back to the scripture that we looked at in Proverbs, in Proverbs, yeah, Proverbs 47, that talked about riches can disappear fast, and the king's crown doesn't stay with the family forever. So watch your business interests. So that's why it's important to document, so that you have a budget, that you know what's coming in and you know what's going out, and that you're tracking the monies that you come in. And when I say monies are coming in, I'm talking about other monies, like you mentioned your investments, and you mentioned different other things that you got coming in. For some of us, maybe it might be a seed, or maybe it might be, something, that, small. When we talked about um, fast money, you know,
Yeah,
maybe it's some fast money things that's coming in, or, we talked about getting that extra job on a
yeah,
temporary basis in order to accelerate yourself to a certain point. Uh,
yeah,
but
yeah,
being able not to allow that money to get consumed in your living, where now you got the money coming in, you wanted the money for this bill, or you wanted the money to make this move, and the money came in little increments. And when you counted up, you had the money to be able to take care of it, but
hmm,
because um, you wasn't watching your business interests, you was allowing the little money that was coming in to escape. And when you add it up, you had enough money to make the move, but because you didn't keep up with it,
yeah,
you never get to where you're trying to go. And so being able to take the time to document, you
yeah,
know, um, your the money coming in and your money that's going out, and being able to set goals or targets for whatever those extra, like you talk about investments. Because going back to your formula for, your 40% living expenses, 10% to God, and 10% to taxes, that's only 60%. So you still got 40% there. And then you broke that 40% down. You said that was what?
So you got 20% going towards your investments.
So then you got 20% going towards investments.
Yes.
And so that's the part that I was trying to get to, because, if you planning it out right, then you are actually building up, not necessarily a nest egg, but uh, uh, um,
Your
an
funding.
investment account or
Yeah.
something, where you can begin to make some moves towards where it is that you want to go, even if it's small moves, like we talked about
Yeah.
with the CD, you know. But being able not to consume everything that comes in all of the time, because you have money don't mean that you have to spend it.
Yeah. And when I tell you, like, people don't know the struggles that it took. Like my 10 years, it wasn't just all happy. I in previous episodes, I've already told you that I went from all my money down to $1 because I had good money coming in. I just had pockets that was on fire. So as fast as my money came in, it was leaving out just as fast. So I had money like, oh yeah, cool. I got taxes. No, those taxes are already pre-spent. When I say pre-spent, I mean when that taxes came in, they was all ready to pay a bill because I already spent the money.
Hmm.
I've been down that road. I've been down the road where you are always out. I've been down the road where all the bills are paid and you're always out. I went from that road to it got to be something better than this. Oh, cool. I went down that road to let me at least try to save half my taxes. To now I'm saving all my taxes. I've been down that road to be like, okay, cool. I know I'm gonna use this tax money to do something. I ain't gonna just splurge on the tax money and keep it off to the side. I'm gonna do something with the tax money. I've been there, and when I say I've been there, if you took notes, this is year by year by year. You want to know what it takes. You got to grind it out. You got to look at your deficiencies and say, I want better. This is where living in your vision will help, because I know where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be in a position to help other people get to where they need to be. How does that look? How do I fulfill what God has told me to do? Cool. I got to get myself right, because as water passes through, your hand gonna get wet. Let me just let you know, when the blessing passes through from me to somebody else, my hand's gonna get wet.
Yeah.
And my hands are wet. I'm telling you, my hand's been wet for a while now. God has been very much blessing me, and I have hopefully been a blessing to a lot of other people. But just because that's happening, that doesn't mean it can't happen for other people. As a Christian, that's just what we do. God builds us up, he strengthens us, and as he's building us up, we're building somebody else up. As he's strengthening us up, we're strengthening up somebody else. As he's moving us, we putting other people in position so they can move as well. That's what we do. We're Christians. Yeah. And I say that and I laugh, because that's exactly what Christians are. We come into a community, we improve the community. We are the light of the world. Yeah. We are the salt. We add tons of flavor to what's going on. Mm-hmm. And we got to be that while we're still grinding out, while God is still working in us. So when I tell you this, I'm telling you that it may appear to be hard. Mm-hmm. It's not. Your vision is telling you that you made it. Mm-hmm. I want you to make it. Pastor Burns wants you to make it. So as you take notes, just know that we both want you to make it. If nobody else tell you, you play the same clip again at 8:18, and you're going to hear me tell you that Pastor Burns want you to make it. And I, Brother James Jones, I want you to make it. No ifs, no ands, no buts.
And your family needs you to make it. And you, even though you may not know it, you need for you to make it, and you got the whole heavens backing you up.
Yeah.
And so you have to make those steps, though. You have to, there are some things nobody can do for you. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things that, you have to do for yourself. And it's going to be okay. I mean, growing up, you fail, you skid your knee, some people broke bones, you bust your head. Some people got stitches or whatever, but you made it through that. And so the pain and the hurt, it passed, you healed. And so in the same sense, you got to start, and you could do this. James, we are just about all out of time. Let's give some homework.
Ooh, I was just about to say that. Okay. Right. Here go the last slide. The last slide is the homework slide. So, how do you get started? This is the homework. Now, all throughout this, I was telling everybody, take notes. Take notes of your income. Take notes of the expenses. Now, this is the homework. How do you get started? Some of you need to write a vision. When I say write it, I do mean write it. If you want to do a pictogram and put a bunch of pictures on the wall, make a portfolio of pictures. If you pass that point, write it down. You don't got to make a novel, but make sure that you write it so other people can read it and understand where you are. If you're past that point, get started. Spill out what is your expenses. Spill out what is your income, and start putting the pieces in place. If you're past that point, now I'm not saying rush it. If you didn't make a vision board yet, don't run off and start trying to do your expenses. Do the vision board. make sure you can see and others can see this is where I'm going. If you didn't write off, if you haven't wrote down where you're going, don't run off and start trying to make a business for yourself. Go back and write the vision, make it plain. It's in scripture. Trust me, it works. You make the vision, you write the vision and you make it plain. Plain so you can read it, plain so other people who's coming up with you, like your wife or your spouse or your friend, your co-workers, your accountability partner, make sure other people can read this and be like, oh, okay, cool, I see where you at. The homework is to start where you are. Vision board, a vision statement or a vision or a mission statement, right? What are you planning on accomplishing? How does it look when you get there? And who's there with you? Now we oftentimes, and I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this too. So if she can see me, she know who she is. But I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I appear that I'm by myself, but people don't see the people that back me and push me to be in these places. The people who take care of the people who make dinner, the people who literally push me, right? People don't always see the person who's directly behind me. People don't always see the family.
I need you to stop alluding to it and just tell them, give a
Oh,
shout out to your wife.
well, my wife Lisa, she I give a shout out to her. She knows who she is. Hopefully hopefully she can hear this. But yeah, I give it straight out.
Saying that Lisa, holds it down to afford you the opportunity to be able to go and provide for your family, and be able to make the moves that's going to leave a legacy. And even when it comes to setting an example for your children to be able to follow, that they're able to see, what it takes in order to be able to navigate life, and that's important because one of the biggest challenges I see when I deal with married couples is they're in competition with each other. They don't realize that they have a purpose. When the Bible said that the wife is the help meet, that's important that they play those roles. But a lot of times they're not, they're more in competition with each other. They're competing, and as a result, there's no unified front. And we both have two different. And I'm not saying that the wife shouldn't work, or I'm not saying the wife shouldn't have her own aspirations or whatever. But I'm saying that marriage should be a partnership. You
Yeah.
know, and it should be us being able to see where um, we want to be and coming to some understanding or agreement to what it's going to take, and then each one being willing to play those roles that need to be played in order to be able to get it there. And so that's important that you acknowledge, your backbone, your rib bone, your
Yeah.
bone of your bone, your flesh of your flesh, your woe man, because people need to hear that, because a lot of times, they don't realize that they're doing themselves a, a disservice, when they they fail to support their spouse when it comes to whoever has the best plan to bring financial freedom to the family. Is so important that you both be on board and not be jealous or envious of the other person or competing with the other person. So I threw all that in for free. All right. We got 5 minutes. We got a
Yeah.
homework assignment, and I believe we had a good class. Even though we didn't make it through um, most of the things that we had planned for today, I think we had a good class, and we didn't see a lot of. I see Lisa chimed in. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you got some points. You got some points there. Look, I see some love stars in her eyes. She got 4 of them in there. Yeah, yeah. That boy in the house now. Yeah. And
Yeah.
she says, it takes a team. It takes a team.
Yes.
And yeah, that's so important that people understand that, because you take it for granted sometimes if you're not careful that person got your back. And a lot of times people, because they don't know that, they're both grinding, but they're not making progress because they're not unified. They're not a team, and they're more in competition, but they don't realize that they are. But they fail to support the other person, you know, and so they're acknowledging the other person, but they're not supportive of the other person, and so they're not able to be able to go forward. All right.
Yeah.
Um, we are out of time, and we got 3 minutes here. So
Okay. We got the workshop.
yes, we do have the workshop coming up. It is the entrepreneur workshop. All of them has been very good.
Yes.
All of them has been very good, extremely over the top. They have exceeded, you know, a lot of people's expectation. I
Yeah.
really expected it to be at that high level. That's why I sought out the best to be a part of it. And this one coming up is one that you need to be at. Matter of fact, I'm going to make you a special deal today that I just came up with. And but it's this next is fourth Saturday, 9 to 3. Come planning on staying the whole time.
Yes.
Whatever it is you got to do, it can wait. It will be worth your effort. And this one is going to be fail forward fast. So it's going to be about learning to thrive despite setbacks. So this is going to be a very good one, and it's going to be good for not only business owner, but it's going to be good for anyone really. And so it's going to be about learning strategies to bounce back from setbacks quickly, and understanding the role of resilience and overcoming obstacles, and practical advice. And I've asked Michelle Pitts, the owner of Pitts Funeral Home
Yeah.
on Prairie, and Michelle is I've talked to her many times, and I've watched her from afar. She's very involved in the community. She has multiple hats that she wears, and she does a lot of things that people don't really realize that she does outside of the funeral home. And she's definitely a person that's had some challenges in her life, and I'm gonna let her tell her own story. But I believe she's a perfect person for this workshop. And right now, she's thriving. She's giving back to the community. I'm telling you, this is going to be a good one, like they all are. So here's the special. All right, y'all ready for it? Drum roll. Um, for this workshop, if you get two people to sign up, they have to sign up. Two people. If you get two people to sign up, then I'm gonna give you yours for free. Boom. You're gonna get the workbook. You're gonna get lunch. You're gonna get the workbook. You're gonna get lunch, and I'm if you get two people to sign up. Now, when they sign up, they got to put your name down so that we'll know. You can't just see them show up and say, "Oh yeah, this is my guest." No, 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 no. You're gonna have to put their name down. But if you get two people to sign up, and this is a ministry, you can help. The reason I'm doing this because you know somebody who need to learn how to bounce back. You know somebody who's dealing with setback. You know someone who's dealing with some things. They're trying to get something going, but it just don't seem to be working. That they need to overcome the obstacle. You know somebody, and so this is going to be you helping somebody else. $25, we're not making no money on the workshop. You do know that.
Yeah.
And we're making sure that we're taking good care of our speakers. And so $25 is just, it don't really cover the lunch. More or less, the workbook by itself is worth $25.
Yeah.
Amen. I thought I'd get
Yeah.
amen to that.
It does. It
But
does.
so for this workshop, if you get two people to sign up, have them put your name down, go to dr80burns.com/events. That's dr80burns.com/events, and get them and sign up for Failing Forward Fast. and learning how to thrive despite setbacks. And so if you get 2 people to sign up, yours is going to be absolutely free. And you're going to get the workbook and you get lunch as well. And so I need you to be in the place. All right. Well, we are definitely out of time. James, what's your closing comments?
Come to the event and don't dodge. Yes, come to the event. There's a wealth of information, and you can apply all that stuff in small increments to make sure you're better positioned moving forward.
Yeah, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Yeah, learn from somebody else. Listen, we've learned a lot today. I know I've learned a lot today, as I've already said before, and I'll say again that my life has definitely changed, and my financial stability has definitely increased, and I am on my way to a place of financial freedom, as a result of using the information that we've been sharing here on Rise and Thrive Financial Fridays. And I'm telling you, if you apply the information, you can rise from a place of financial slump, and you can begin to thrive at a whole nother level to financial freedom. And so it's definitely has blessed my life. I'm working on some things for this year that I'm going to be launching, and I believe that as I grind them out, it's going to give me some financial freedom. And I'm trying to decide, James. I got to figure out how to make a deal with myself. I got my eye on this automobile, and I got to make a deal with myself. I'm gonna have to be able to do something. I'm gonna have to be at a certain place before I release myself to go get it. You know, you know what I mean? Because I want to go get it. Be my 65th birthday. I want to go get it for my birthday, but I wanna make sure that I'm doing something. Like Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
How he would go buy a house and then use the income from the house to pay the car note.
Yeah.
And then once the car paid off, he still got the money coming in. So I want to be able to do something similar. I don't like real estate that much. I used to do real estate, but I'm not a real estate fan.
I know a guy.
You know a guy, all right.
I know a guy who pretty good at real estate. He's pretty good.
So I might need to partner with that guy and do something. But anyway, I've been blessed by Financial Friday. That's all I'm saying, and I am definitely in a better place as a result of it. And I believe that our best days are ahead of us. All right. Yes. So, what's your closing comments, and then we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here.
Much love to everybody. Remember, small increments will get you there.
Small increments. We're gonna have to write a jingle for that. Small increments will get you there.
Yes.
Don't worry, there's no need to fear, because small increments will get you there.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I'm not a singer. I'm telling you, man, when you used it, she had this one song, I Believe in You. I was like, man, I can hit every note when I'm sleeping.
Well, I might have to listen to that one. That might be I'm gonna have to pull some out of there. All right, but listen, you all, thank you for tuning into another Financial Friday, where we are rising from financial slumps and we are thriving in financial freedom. And listen, thank you for tuning in. Again, I pray that you take the information that you receive, put it to practice. You got to walk this thing out. Things don't just happen, they must be planned. And so you got your homework assignment. God just dropped something in my spirit, and I ain't gonna tell you on camera. I'm gonna let it marinate, and then next week I'll tell you if the Lord say the same. All right. Well, listen, be blessed. We look forward to seeing you on next Financial Friday. Don't forget to sign up for the workshop. If you invite 2 people, if you get 2 people to sign up, and again, you're helping them. Make sure you're telling them that this is something that's going to help them, and is when it comes to being able to bounce back from setbacks. And so we look forward to seeing you on next week, Financial Friday. Be blessed.
Bye, everybody.